Okay, so welcome to Suitcase Divas podcast. We are on episode 28. My name is Denise Diabaldi with Redbirds Travel.
And I'm Cheryl Garcia with ABCD Adventures.
In this episode, we want to tell you we just got back from a work regionals trip. It was amazing overall. I'm just gonna say that. We went to Orlando and stayed in the Icon Park area. So we'll get into that more later. So this time we tried Allegiant Airline, and I don't know if you guys know much about Allegiant, but they are in Concord, North Carolina. They have an airport which is closest to us instead of flying out of Charlotte Douglas International, which, by the way, is the most expensive airport you can fly out of. Maybe LAX is a little more, but for whatever reason, Charlotte is expensive to fly out of. So we were going to check out this Allegiant airline. And for example, Charlotte to fly out of Charlotte, it was about almost $500 round trip for a direct flight. With Allegiant, it was even checking a bag. So they do nickel and dime you for everything, but it's a budget airline. So the ticket and the checked bag, which ironically carry-on is more expensive than a checked bag. So that's weird. Probably because they don't have a lot of room in the plane. So they're encouraging people to check a bag. Um, but even with the checked bag, the ticket round trip, I want to say it was like 215, 220, something like that versus 500. So definitely cheaper. Um, so you get one free personal item and it has to fit under your seat. So that's pretty much all you're getting away with Allegiant. Everything else costs money. Also everything if you want water, soda, whatevs, you still have to pay for any snacks, any drinks. They don't just have drink service. And the thing is, it was like an hour and 10 minutes, right? It was not a long flight. So we weren't too worried about, stocking up or anything like that. We did have a mimosa on the way there, and it was the Marca, which is actually a nice prosecco. We just drank straight up prosecco. That's how we roll.
Yeah, we skipped that
Um,
mimosa part.
yeah, it was good. So I will say that the Concord Airport, it's small. There's no restaurant at all. So if you there's a little snack section where they've got like chips and little cheese and crackers and sodas and stuff. No bar. There's no bar there. There's nothing. So bring a bottle of wine like we planned to, but we forgot, and then just have a little bevy. If you got anxiety, is what I'm saying. If you need a little drink before you get on the plane, it's not going to happen at Concord unless you bring it yourself. So no restaurants, but it was clean. They do have a
Mhm.
TSA pre-check. There was absolutely no lines. We just walked in, and it was just like empty. And then when we got to the where the gate is, then there were some people, but overall, really not a busy airport at all. Um, it was easy to get through. We did have to go out on a ramp to get up on the plane. I'm just trying to tell you guys, it's a small airport. So if any of that is a turn off to you, then you probably should steer clear from Allegiant. Now going into Orlando, they don't send you to the regular Orlando International. It's called Orlando Sanford,
Mhm.
still a smaller airport and further away, a little bit further away. So you got to factor all of this in when we're buying our tickets next time. So also a small airport. We arrived in the evening and there was like one restaurant open. That's it. And it was dead. I was like, does anybody work here? I felt like we're like an apocalypse. There was no people, no workers, no people. We were just like wandering around, like, where do we go, Cheryl?
And it
Like,
was
how do
only
we?
like 6:37-ish, so it wasn't
Yeah,
super late. Yeah.
it wasn't, but it was like a ghost town, and there was no direction of where to go to find an Uber or a taxi. We literally just kept walking, and luckily we found one lady that was like, "It's over there. Over there is where you get your taxi." And we're like, "Thank you," because it was just completely a ghost town. So, I will say we went with the Uber said it was going to be $90 to get to our hotel, $90 one way to get there. So, but there wasn't an Uber that was right there. And then so we saw the yellow cab taxis. We're like, how much? She's like 95. We're like, all right, well, we want to go now because we were eager to meet our friends. So we get there. Well, it's taken a little bit of he was not even our taxi guy. He was not driving fast at all. He was driving like 40, 50 and a 70 on the highway. I don't know if he was trying to take more time or what. By the time we got there, what did we pay out the door, Cheryl, for that taxi?
130 for a
$130.
40-minute drive. We paid $130 for our Uber from, or our taxi, sorry, from Sanford to International Drive is where we were going. Yep. So my recommendation is use an Uber.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
just hold
Because
out, wait a few more minutes because Uber is the price they tell you is what you pay. Like if that is the fee. This guy told us 90, we ended up spending 130. So, definitely. And we took a Uber on the way home and we'll tell you how much that was. So it was stupid difference in price between getting there and getting back. But when we did come back, there were a couple more restaurants open in the Sanford Airport location. So I think that airport is pretty cute. There were some restaurants, and I did not have any problem with the little Sanford Airport. I think it is further away if you're trying to get into Disney area and that it's probably double the distance, right? Like 20 minutes versus
yeah, it
45
was
minutes.
about double. But even with, so on the way back, we paid, what was it, maybe 60 after tip?
60. Hmm.
And even factoring in the extra 200 for the travel, the tickets were still cheaper to fly into Sanford versus with Allegiant versus flying with, say, American or something into Charlotte to
And
Big Orlando
I,
Airport.
the the first airplane we got on is more, I don't know what kind of airplane it was. It was
Yes,
more spacious. There was more leg room because I'm kind of tall and my knees weren't touching the seat in front of me. And I didn't feel like we were squished at all. Like
I
so it
absolutely
seemed
agree.
like a bit
And
more.
the aisle was way bigger, so it's easier to
Yeah.
navigate for someone who has accessible issues. I will say the Allegiant plane was, I would say, more accessible friendly because of how
Okay.
wide the aisles were, and in between our seats was. And even on the flight back, our plane was a different
It
model,
was a different
but it
plane.
was still, I think, more spacious than
I do too.
American or Delta or United that I've flown before. So,
And we didn't have any problem with like, oh, there actually was there actually was a problem on the way back. They had to freaking power off the plane because the dummy button wouldn't shut off. So they're like, it's going to get dark here, but hopefully this will powering on off will fix the problem because that was a little bit scary.
which it was
You're like
funny. He said, he came over and he said over the intercom, and he's like, "We have a problem. The light won't shut off. We're gonna give it a," they were trying all these things, and then he says, "Okay, we're just gonna restart."
reboot. Yeah, we need
And
a reboot.
I don't think I had ever been on a plane that wasn't on before. So there was all the chatter, the usual chatter you hear when people are like getting settled, ready for a flight. When he cut the plane off, and you didn't hear any of the
It's
humming
like
or
crickets. Yeah.
well, you didn't hear the humming of of the plane itself, and then you heard everyone get silent. Like, and
Uh-huh.
it was dark. So that was a little eerie, and we didn't think we were getting out of there because we knew we were flying into storms. So we were not sure we were gonna take off when we did, but they did. There was a lot of turbulence, but I still think our pilot did awesome
I agree.
overall. So this is not my first time flying Allegiant. I've flown it a couple of times. And the only thing I love Allegiant. I love how close it is to our house. I love how
Yeah.
easy it is to navigate both leaving Concord and flying into Sanford. And then the other time I've flown into is New Orleans. That was easy to navigate. Um, the only thing is they do nickel and dime you on everything. You're paying for your seat, and that is it. You cannot put anything in the overhead bins unless you've prepaid. You cannot, don't expect, like Denise said, water or crackers or anything. Like every single thing extra outside of your seat costs you money. But still, I still think we came out better cost wise flying
We
this
did.
route than if
Yeah.
flown out of
And
Charlotte.
I will say they were pushing their Allegiant credit card real hard. And if you were to fly Allegiant exclusively, it would be a great card to
It
get.
was a
It's like
really good deal,
it's
actually.
like
Their
buy one,
plan.
get one flights. Buy one,
Yes.
get one flights. When you sign up, you get $250 credit towards a flight, which that's going to be a flight anywhere in the US
And then you
probably.
got points added to it. I
And
do
then
agree. Yeah,
and
they're
then you get free drinks. You get a free complimentary drink when you go, and that can be alcohol, soda, water, whatever. You get a complimentary drink if you have the card. You get priority boarding. So I might look into it. I mean, I'm not, this is only my first time flying Allegiant. But I would
is
consider that if we're going to fly on a
right.
regular
It's
basis
funny
out of
that
there.
we heard that because last week's episode we talked about airline loyalty programs
Loyalty.
and
This one
um
seems to be pretty decent compared to
it
a lot of the
did.
other airlines.
And the only thing with where our, because each little airport that Allegiant flies out of, their locations are different. So in Concord right now, they fly to, it's Orlando. I think they fly to Fort Lauderdale. I have to go back and double check. They do New Orleans every now and then, and they just opened up some slightly out Midwest. I can't remember exactly where it was. It's not even a big hub or a big city area, so I was surprised they added that one.
They're
So
adding more though. They do
they
need to
are.
add more.
But they to keep it small, to keep it budget friendly, they're going to be more, it's a direct flight to somewhere kind of thing. So check out if you've got an Allegiant near you because I definitely think it's a
It for
good
sure
airline.
is budget friendly, and yeah, it's a decent airline. So give Allegiant a go. We had a great experience overall. But let's move on to where did we stay, Cheryl? When we
We
got to
stayed
Orlando, and we did not choose this hotel. Was what the regionals committee, whoever picked this, I'd never heard of it. It's called Avanti. They call it Avanti Resort. Was it a
and
resort, Cheryl?
so there are two Avantis on International Drive. One was the Avanti International Resort, which is where we stayed. The other one was Avanti Convention and something
Convention.
center. It was
But
like it
they're
was a
both on
bigger.
iDrive.
They
Yep.
are both on iDrive. So like Denise said, we didn't pick this hotel, and we did not research other than looking at it, this hotel, which is not normal for us. But I will say we do, if someone's planning something for us, we kind of just roll with it so we can
We
experience
wanted to
it.
be where all the other agents. Part of the allure of going to this regionals for me was, and I know for you too, but was to meet up with our team because we're all over the US, and it's nice to go and meet up and see the people that you are on trainings with, that you're on team chats with, that we're doing happy hour. So we love these people. We love our family. So it was so nice. I will say that was the best part was yes, it was a great regionals. It was productive. There was training. We always want to continue training, but for us, it was really about going there and having fun and spending a few days with our
And
travel agent
being the
family.
travelers versus the planners. So that's why we did not do a lot of research on the hotel
Yeah.
before we left because we wanted to experience it as if as one of our travelers would go to a
And
hotel
we could
that
give you feedback. Right.
yeah. So our experience at the Avanti was very interesting.
We had a great time, but we
We
can have a
did.
great time anywhere.
And
So,
I will say the staff was amazing. They were always polite. They were always
yep.
helpful. Well, we had one incident, which we'll get to, but which you can't travel with the divas without some kind of drama, apparently. This wasn't ours. We're never the cause. We're just
We're just there for it.
yeah. So the hotel is in an amazing location on iDrive.
Great location,
Could
amazing
walk
location,
to so you can walk to Icon
everything.
Park. You can walk
Hmm.
right across the street. There are lots of bars and restaurants, a lot of
Tons,
accommodations. Yeah, so you're not far from a Walgreens. You're not far. You can't walk to like a Walmart or grocery store, but it's a quick drive if you are clear with your Uber driver, because that also happened to us.
yeah.
So, but talking about the room, we had a double queen
Yep.
room with four. There were four of us ladies in there. The room
And
sucked.
we had the best roommates. They are a hoot.
But
Alicia and Julie,
the room
shout out.
size was nice. It was a big room. I
It
will
was
say.
a big room. It was a decent sized room, and we had a pate every night in there.
Yes. So it had a weird bed frame. All of
The
us
bed
ended up
frame fucking sucked. It was wood and it stuck out, and we all have bruises on our shins from it. At
yes.
some point, everybody ran into that bed frame.
Yeah. So we all the way it was set up, the bed frame is bigger than the mattress.
Mattress.
So every
Hmm.
time you walked around it, you were hitting your knees or hitting your shins.
Yep.
It
It
was
was
such a
bad
mess.
news. Yeah,
Um,
bad.
the the bathroom, the toilet and shower were separate from where the get ready counter. The get ready counter, it's
I
what we
liked
call
that.
it, the bathroom counter, but it was large. Like we had so much stuff on
We
that
had four
counter.
ladies in there and we had everything
Yeah,
sprawled everywhere. It was
all
the
of
room
that was
size was great.
spacious. I
Hmm.
will say the bathroom where the toilet and the tub is ab it was very tiny. It's not
It's tight.
accessible. Now, we did not
It's
have an
definitely tight.
accessible room, but I know not everyone that travels that has accessible needs requests an accessible room because usually there's at least a safety bar or the toilet tub area is bigger. This is not one I would recommend without
Yeah.
stepping up and requesting the accessible room because the doorways were not wide enough. The bathroom is absolutely not navigatable. I love inventing new
I know
words.
I know what you mean. I know
But
what you
you could
meant.
not navigate around without in that room if you had an accessible issue or need. Um, the other thing is we had no remote control.
We
Um,
weren't there to watch TV, but if you wanted to, there was no remote
and
or
the
a way
only
to turn
reason
on.
I noted it was because one night you had asked for it and we were like, oh, we're not getting out of bed to get it. But the other reason I noted it was because when I was walking around the resort, or I'm gonna call it the resort because that's what it's called, the hotel,
We're using that
I
term
happened
loosely.
to hear another guest asking, hey, are you going to send? I don't have a remote in my room. So it wasn't just us that didn't have that. And this was not
Right.
somebody with our group, it was somebody
Nobody
else.
just overhearing them. Yep.
The other thing about our room, which we found first night, was the sheets were not clean. Not at
It
all.
was, yeah, it was so gross. And they, first of all, they said they thought there was bed bugs. And so it's like we'd come in, we'd been partying till like 2, 3 in the morning. All of a sudden, these hoochies on the other side of the room are like, there's bed bugs. And so like we're ripping our clothes off and checking for bugs and ripping the sheets off and checking for bugs. Well, there was no bed bugs, but we found some other disgusting stuff. So
Yeah, so I actually had fallen asleep when they started to jump up and be like, "Oh my God, there's bed bugs." There were black little
little
things.
black things,
It
but
wasn't
they
even
weren't bugs.
fuzzies. It wasn't bugs, but it was something. And it
I
was
don't know what they
all
were.
over the bedding on both beds. So we pulled off all the sheets. And as I'm looking, because I got out my little headlamp that I carry with me,
In her
Alicia
go
got
bag.
her phone, which by the way, I found out my headlamp batteries are dying, so I need to replace them.
Please do
Excuse me.
that.
So we're like pulling up the sheets because the best place to look for bed bugs, which by the way, you're supposed to check your bed for bed bugs when you check in, but we were so
Before,
excited we
right.
forgot. So you not only do you pull up the sheets, but make sure you're pulling up the mattress cover, check the corners of the mattress, as well as when you're looking the rim, the little rim that goes around the tops of mattresses, you want to bend those back and forth because that's where bed bugs tend to
I'm getting
navigate
grossed
towards.
out. First of all,
Um,
I try not to stay places where I think there may be bed bugs.
But I will
First
say
things
you
first.
cannot judge because
You can't. They can be
some of the
anywhere.
best hotels, bed bugs are just one of those things that once they get them, they're very hard to get rid of. And
Nope.
because it's very common in travel
Yeah.
to come across it, I will say if you travel a lot, you're gonna come across it regardless of the level or stars or what ratings of a hotel. Bed bugs are not
Okay.
exclusive to any particular type or level of hotel. Everybody gets them.
So
Um,
what did you find though? What did you find,
so as I
Cheryl, with your
pulled
light?
back the sheets, I didn't even get to the bed cover.
I'm so
I
grossed
found a
out.
giant ass toenail.
Ew.
Giant
I'm
ass
so
toenail.
grossed out.
This was
Wait, that was
in
in their
between.
bed though,
No,
right? That
that
was
was
in
in
their
our
bed.
bed. It was in between the top sheet and the fitted sheet. So it was in where people are sleeping. So I know those sheets were
Ew.
not changed
That
in
is so
between guests.
nasty.
So we did request the next day to have our sheets changed. The only thing I will say, Avanti charges you $30 when you want your room cleaned. Room cleaning is not included in your hotel slash resort stay. They do come by every day to refresh, and that's to offer you new towels, toilet paper, whatever you may need. They do not come pick up your trash.
Mm.
They do not come clean your room unless you're going to pay them the $30, which we didn't do. We did have them come fix our sheet.
Apparently, the last people didn't either, and that's why there's toenails in
Yeah,
there.
so that was not I
It's
can
so gross.
understand, maybe the floor not being swept great. I expect the bathrooms to be clean. I expect my bed to be clean. floors and whatnot, that's a given because anybody walking out, you open the door, things will blow out, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
But I expect the bathrooms and my bedding to be clean. And that was not the case for this hotel. They and when we asked them about it the next morning when they came by to do the refresh, she handed us our sheets and told us to change them ourselves, which was not,
Well, but the thing is, there was definitely a language barrier there. I
yes.
don't think she understood exactly what we were saying, and that was an issue. That was an issue for several of the things, like people at the over at the pool. There's a pool bar, and you can order food, and there was definitely a language barrier there too. A few of our friends in our group said that they didn't speak English. Essentially,
Well,
what
I
they
mean,
said.
we're in
They
Florida. It's a very
right.
heavy Spanish speaking country. It does seem Florida does seem like its own little
They're their
country,
own country.
but it's definitely
I
and
didn't
it's
have
so
any problem.
diverse.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
didn't have any
It just
problem with
takes a
anybody.
minute to take a breath and try to figure out how to communicate with each other. There's so many ways to communicate other than
I talk with my hands, honey.
exactly.
They can
Yeah.
figure it all out.
So overall, my review on the room was it was not
I would
one.
never send anybody there. I would never
Uh,
send a client there.
it depends. Like it depends on their purpose, and we'll get into that towards the end. So the other thing is again the additional cost. Um, the daily resort fee, they do tack on a daily resort fee, was 25 to 35 a night, depending on how much you paid for the room. I did go back and research after to see like what that was. Housekeeping was $30. You
Well, their
you
pool was really nice. Their pool
yeah,
was
I was getting to that part. You cannot bring additional food to the pool. So they did have a gorgeous pool bar. They had a little cafe. There were places to eat there. But for this to be a budget hotel, in addition
right.
to the fact that it's considered a resort, but it's a Best Western that was remodeled
If
and
we're
it's
being
still
honest, we found
fairly
that out.
priced.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
As a Best Western, there's nothing wrong with that because I think what we paid for what we got was right on par, I would think.
So we were making a pool day out of it. And we had called in advance. They don't normally allow food and drink, but we spoke to somebody. Alicia called and she didn't get the name of the person that said, since you guys are renting out the convention center and you guys have a group and you're doing a pool party, we'll give you permission to bring in some water and a few
Snacky foods,
snacks.
yeah.
Yeah. So we did. So we packed a big cooler. We had little sandwiches. Brought water bottles, all that stuff. And everything was going good. We were there for about 40 minutes. And then the security guy came and is like, you guys need to you can't have that cooler. You can't have outside food or drink. And it was kind of embarrassing because he like brought out three people and it's like a posse of
It did turn
security and
into a scene
yeah, and
because
everybody was staring at us. It was quite embarrassing. We were trying to explain, I was like, my friend Alicia got this approved. And he's like, I don't care. I don't, I was like, can
I'm
you
the
talk
one
to
that makes the
Alicia? Yeah.
decision,
He's like,
is what he
I'm the one,
said.
I don't care who you talk to. I'm telling you right now you need to get your stuff out of here.
And what
And
we told him was if I mean, we would not
we
have done
wouldn't have
this
brought it
without
if,
permission. Right.
right.
So what and we all kind of understood we're like fine, this is not what you want. We took it to one of our other agents room who was on the bottom floor and we just kind of went back and forth there if anybody needed snacks. What bothered me about the whole thing, well, one, I think it's really unreasonable to have a family stop because this is a universal partner hotel, so there are going to be families that are staying here, to not allow outside food because you want it to be eaten at your cafe bar when you are one of the budget hotels, and two, you've got families coming in and they could not accommodate food allergies of some of our guests.
They
So
couldn't.
that was very, I don't like that process. I wouldn't recommend for that. I mean, it's not going to be the only thing that would sway
Well,
me,
but the
but
other thing is, we saw people with
correct.
McDonald's bags, with coolers, with other things in there, and we got called out and made to look like a fool, or and then
Which we were a
everybody
bigger
else,
group. We were
we
the
were a
biggest group
larger
there.
group. There was
Yeah.
like 20, 25 of us there. But still, that something was not stirring the
It
Kool-Aid there.
wasn't
Like
handled well on
it
their
was not.
end. And this is why it's so important when you are making plans, whether it's just to get it in writing, because that
Get
comes
it
into
in
play later
writing.
again where
Mm-hmm.
we made a plan off of something that we were told by a place that we were visiting, and they changed it, or it was miscommunicated, whatever. But because we had it in writing, we were able to fix it. But the other
Yeah.
thing about this hotel before we wrap up this part, now, mind you, our regional event was scheduled to be here. We had over 70 agents there. They were staying. We got in Thursday. We left Sunday, but others stayed till Monday. So this wasn't a like a overnight only kind of event. There was quite a few of us. Even knowing that they had a working event going on, their business center was not working. They had nothing that we could use. We
Yeah.
tried to get in there and do a couple things. We could not use their business center. The
It
other
looked
thing
like
is,
it had been down for a while too.
right. The
Like
other thing,
I don't think this was just this weekend.
their coffee store, which is it's not a
Starbucks.
Starbucks store, but it sells Starbucks products, which that was
Yeah.
pointed out to me. They were not open at all on Saturday.
Very
So
limited hours in general.
you
Yeah.
you have all these people. We had over, I think it was over 70 people coming
Yeah.
all day Saturday, and they didn't that would have been, their marketing is like a little off, because that would have been a great sales for them that day. I was surprised that that wasn't available. And we couldn't even bring in our own stuff. So we could, this, I would not
We
recommend
couldn't
this
bring in food
hotel.
or snacks to the convention
Exactly.
center.
If you were
Hmm.
going to do some type of event, they had the room wasn't great for our number of people that we had. The sound was good, but the visual things were not great. And the fact that
They
we
didn't have
couldn't
enough
bring,
chairs.
we
Yeah.
didn't, but that I think is also on our planners. They should have had that. They should have requested it. I don't blame the hotel for that at all.
Right. Okay. I
But
get you.
they would not let us bring in like our own breakfast or our own anything, but they also were not open to let others buy. We either had to go through their catering department, which was, from my understanding, again, this is second, third hand hearing from me or from down the line, was an outrageous price. So
Yeah.
I think they're living, they're a beer budget hotel trying to put out champagne pictures, and it's not working. It's not somewhere I would recommend for an
Yeah.
event like what we did. But I'm not,
The
this is,
only thing it had going for it for me was the location. It was so close to everything that we could possibly want to do. Walkable to all the restaurants, all the things you can do. I will say, don't think that if you're in a crosswalk that cars are going to stop for you, because there was like four lanes, so it's a
yes.
divided highway. But even in the crosswalks, cars are flying by. Like you have to literally wait till the cars. Some of our friends, after a few drinks,
So
got
that
pretty
takes us into
aggressive.
Icon Park as we're exploring, because you're right. As we went out to explore and go to our scheduled, like we had a couple of scheduled activities on
Yep.
Icon Park or iDrive, because Icon Park and iDrive are two different things. I keep mixing them up, but they had crosswalks, but they had no lights. Like you couldn't push a
Hmm.
button to make everyone stop. There were no flashing lights at the crosswalk to alert people that, hey, this is a crosswalk. The lighting was not great. The trees were beautiful. They had, because it like Denise said, it's 4 lanes with the median, a very pretty median.
Yeah, like
It
a
was
divided
very,
highway.
green, and it was a very beautiful area.
And it
But
was
because
clean. There wasn't a
it
lot of
was
trash.
clean.
I will say Orlando is beautiful. Like the streets were clean, everybody was friendly.
Yes.
It's just you got to keep your wits about you, and if you've been drinking, you just really need to be careful because you're in a crosswalk does not mean cars are not going to
And
fly
it's
out and
not
hit you.
very well lit. That's what I was
No.
trying to say, was it's because of all the trees, and the street lights were not even really street lights. They were closer to the buildings, either the hotels or the shops or restaurants. They weren't anywhere near where we would be crossing. So the lighting wasn't great. So yeah, definitely, even though there are signs that say it is the law to stop to let people go through, this is a touristy area. They don't know that. It's not something that they would know. There needs to be flashing lights to let people know that's a crosswalk.
Or just FYI, just be mindful if you ever are in an area um like Orlando, you be
If you're in the
nice.
car,
And
you
yeah,
mean.
if you're the driver, stop for pedestrians. Be that
Right.
person. I encourage you to be that person. So yeah, at Icon Park, it's like a great atmosphere, 50 plus shops, restaurants, attractions. There was that big slingshot that our friend Charles did. Um, that is insane, by the way. I don't know how fast you go, but that was crazy. They just shoot you up in the air. That's crazy. They had the big Ferris wheel, right? They had the sky wheel, I think they call it. They've got all kinds of stuff. Actually, there's a sea life in there. There's tons of restaurants in there. We didn't even check out everything that they had, but what we did do, it was fun. The music, we were dancing, we were walking around. The weather was dreamy. Um,
Yes.
so Icon Park was fun, and I definitely enjoyed it. What would you say your favorite thing there was?
So you're right. We didn't even get to see everything at Icon Park. And so Icon Park was a little bit further down from our hotel. So on iDrive alone, there are restaurants and attractions outside of Icon Park. So if you were just to go to Icon Park, that's where you'll find the slingshot, the Orlando wheel. They also had like I forgot what it was called, but it's the big swing that goes up and twirls around. It's kind of like what we have here at Carowinds.
Yeah,
They had Madame Tussauds, waxwork, Ripley's. They had escape rooms. They had a lot to do just in that area. It was very family oriented as well as being adult only oriented. So they had outside kiosk bars where you could get a drink, but they also had a lot for the kids to do. We were there
agree.
around midnight one night and there were kids everywhere. I'm
They
like,
were.
when are these kids going to bed? There was a lot to do there. We didn't get to see everything. They stayed open fairly well. One of the things I did like that's not typical of a touristy area, there wasn't just a single bathroom like in Icon Park when you walk in, there's a couple entrances to go, and then it's like you walk through a little twirly little road, not even roads. It's pedestrians only in this area. Usually somewhere like that, you would have like like a bathroom hub where you've got bathrooms outside. The
Yeah,
night
they were
before,
lacking that. Yeah.
we went inside where the wheel is, and that's where the bathroom was. However, the last night we went, that was closed. So I was like, well,
Yeah,
where's the public bathroom? And I talked to someone and they said any of the restaurants or anything that's open, you're allowed to go in and use the restaurants, even I mean use the restrooms, even without having to purchase thing, which is
that's good.
unusual. So that was
Yeah,
very interesting to know. But I will say there wasn't very good like signs for the restroom.
yeah, agreed.
But it was beautiful, very well. I think that was very well lit, even in the middle late at night. I think it was also very well maintained with police. There was police presence everywhere,
I
but
did
not
see that too.
overwhelming to where it makes you feel like, why are there so many police here? You just could turn and you could see everyone was super friendly.
They were
I
so
think overall,
friendly.
great atmosphere. Outside of Icon Park, if you go either left or right, if you come out of our hotel and you're going left or right on iDrive, there are restaurants, bars. There's also more attractions further down. They had mini golf. Like I said, Wonderworks was further down from Icon, a little bit further down, but still walkable. You could walk from Icon Park to Wonderworks. So there was a lot to do on that
And
street by itself.
Howl at the Moon. We have to chat real quickly about that because I signed up for a VIP. I add the word VIP to everything. It was a happy hour, but doesn't VIP happy hour have a better ring
I
to it?
think I think it is called a VIP happy hour though at Howl at the Moon when you do it that way.
Oh, yeah. So I said, I got lucky. And I mean, when you say lucky, I'm sure they give these out all the time, but it was so cool. So if you do get a happy hour, you have up to 100 people that you can invite and or come. And they do like a little mini buffet. The buffet was actually delicious.
It
They
was
had like
really good.
jalapeno mac and cheese, some shepherd pie, some of the little spinach, like I don't, what would you call those?
Pastry puff with spinach and
Yeah,
cream cheese or something.
yep. And then
Meatballs.
a
It was,
meatball. It was
yeah.
actually really nice little setup. And everybody that comes in gets free admission and two free drinks. And it
Mhm.
ended up being such a fun party. And it's a piano bar. So it was so great. A bunch of our friends came out and Suitcase Divas hosted this happy hour and we had a great time.
We did.
And it was so much fun, and we really do appreciate everybody that came out. They also gifted us a big 86 ounces of whatever was in it. It was delicious.
We have no idea what was in it. It was just a bucket of mixed drink of some sort.
No,
And which whatever happened to the bucket?
I don't think we get to keep the bucket. I don't think you're
You
supposed to
can
keep the
keep it.
bucket.
I guess we did.
Oh, I think we didn't. I kept the
Oh,
straws though, and I made this really cool. Oh, you can't see it. I did keep the straws because we're gonna do something fun with that because they cannot reuse the straws, or I hope they don't.
Right. But and that was a great location. That was a great the
Such
people
a
there
great
were so
location.
nice. Overall, it was an amazing weekend. I think we
It
did
was
some great
Senior Frogs.
training.
We had amazing night there one night, and that was so
Mhm.
much fun. Yeah, the magic show, the dinner magic show, it was okay. I probably would not do that again.
Well,
It
I'll tell
wasn't
you what I was
awful.
confused about the magic show because great price for what you got. You got unlimited pizza, a dessert, and unlimited wine, beer, or soda. Which to
Hmm.
me, when they're serving something like that, I'm assuming it's more of adult atmosphere. This was not. This
It was
there was
very
lots of
a lot of
kids.
kids. Yeah,
So the magician he was funny. I love, even though I wasn't expecting a lot of kids, seeing those kids interact. He put a lot of people on stage, but interact with those kids and the magic because they were like, it was so nice to see those kids enjoy the magic show. That was a plus. But
I hear
I'm
you.
with
I hear
you. I
you.
think I wouldn't have planned it for all of us adults to go when it was more of a family event. I didn't realize it was going to be a family event.
Right. So I probably there's a lot of things I would love. Yeah, if I went back to Orlando, which I definitely would like to. It's a beautiful area. I would definitely go back to Orlando again. Um, I'm just saying outside of course, Universal, all that stuff, Disney, but just to go back to iDrive, I would totally go back there and make that like a spring break trip or something like that. I would add in Universal, of course, and all that good stuff. But I love that location. Everybody was super nice. It was clean. Overall, my takeaway was nothing but good things to say about Orlando. I loved it. What were your thoughts?
I had never been to that area before, the iDrive Icon Park area. I would absolutely go back because like you said, we didn't get to see
Yeah.
anything. I think it's a great getaway weekend location if you're
Well, we
looking
saw
for
tons. We didn't get to see everything we wanted to
right.
see. Like there's no way you can do that area in its entirety in like a few days. There's no way.
Well,
You
and we
definitely
had
need a
trainings
week.
in between. We had stuff,
I
we
mean,
had
we were
scheduled
kind of
stuff.
there to work. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
It was a work trip. It was a
Um,
work trip.
I would absolutely recommend this area for getaway, like
Everyone.
a girlfriend weekend, a couples week. Like if you're going to have a party type atmosphere, and you just want you want to get outside the Disney and Universal area, this
Right.
would be a great place to stay.
And there was
And we
actually a really nice Marriott on the other side, where we were crossing
well,
the
there was a
street that
Marriott
time.
courtyard right beside us that was really nice. We went and checked it out.
True. A couple of
So
friends of ours.
there was a lot of hotel options.
Yeah.
I think for Avanti, it's got some work to do before I would really want to send some clients there.
Yeah.
But the location in general, just of that whole area, I would
It
absolutely
was a nice
recommend.
location.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. I
Well,
agree.
what
I
a
agree. I
great
agree.
weekend we had. We love our
It
work
was so much
weekends.
fun.
And who doesn't love to travel for work? Because I absolutely do.
Yeah, I do too. And I had a great time. And you are a great travel buddy. I call
We
you my
are
work
great
wife.
travel
Yeah.
buddies, aren't we?
Yes.
Yeah.
And we were a hit there. Like everybody loved us. Which what's not to love, correct?
Right. Yeah.
But I think that pretty much wraps up our week and definitely would encourage you all to go out to iDrive in Orlando and check it out for yourselves and let us know what you think.
Yeah. All right. Well, thanks, guys.